Alright, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is We've Got to Unify in Some Way, Shape, or Form. This is coming from ABC. Apparently, they're interviewing Charlamagne the God. Guys, really quickly, Charlamagne the God is an absolute legend in radio, let's say, specifically if you are coming from the deeply melanated variety. You've encountered him for a really long time. And for some reason, political figures seem to go and flock to him because of how gigantic his fan base is, basically filled with deeply melanated individuals. All right. I don't know, bro. I'm not really a super fan of him, mainly because he generally speaks to the establishment. He represents the establishment almost consistently in every single question you ask him. But let's go ahead and see where this takes us, guys. Let's jump into this immediately.
One of the most listened to voices on the airwaves, Charlamagne the God, was an outspoken Harris supporter after she replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee. I've spoken with him several times as this race unfolded, and after Election Day, I returned to his New York studio for his reaction to Trump's victory and what it means for the country.
All right, let's go.
So, look, this was obviously not the result you wanted, but I've heard you say you're optimistic today. Why?
Because I have no choice but to be. I'm an American. I live in America. I'm not one of these people that's out here saying, oh, my God, if Donald Trump becomes president again, I'm going to move. Where am I going? Yeah. I'm here. And, I do believe in the future of this country because I have no choice but to. I think what the vice president said in her concession speech was right on point when she said, the light of America's promise still shines bright. I have no reason to feel otherwise. I'm gonna wake up, and just be all doom and gloom and tell everybody the world is ending. It's like, no, Americans went out there and it was a free and fair election and they made a choice. And now we all have to deal with, the consequences of that choice. And whether we like it or not, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. I know it feels like the divided states of America right. over the last, several years. But it's still the United States of America. So that's what I'm looking for us to do. We got to unify in some way, shape, or form.
All right, guys, so really quickly, I was going to kind of give my response to this statement he made here. I'm surprised. I did not expect for him to honestly speak so coherently and moderately down the middle, let's say. Didn't expect that. But I definitely appreciate the fact that we can have a conversation kind of about this without yelling at each other, right? I mean, that would be a great idea. Do I do think that we need to unify in some way, shape, or form? Guys, in fact, the United States of America, in fact, guys, yeah, we do.
United States of America. So that's what I'm looking for us to do. We got to unify in some way, shape, or form.
Right. You were out there. I saw you at the convention in Chicago. You interviewed Kamala Harris a couple times. Were you surprised?
That she lost?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say surprised. Surprised isn't the word that I would use because it's a toss-up. Like, it was going into the election, they were neck and neck.
No, they weren't.
I think that she needs to get a lot more credit than she probably is going to get because the campaign
They were not
dead,
neck and neck.
Literally.
With Biden.
Oh, yeah, the campaign was dead with Biden. I know people make a lot of jokes about the whole weekend at Bernie's thing, and they would say things like, I would vote for Biden if he was a corpse. Well, he damn near was.
Yeah.
And, there was no life whatsoever.
It was crazy because I'm not sure he was actually saying that when he was actually, potentially going to run next. I'm not sure he was saying that exact type of thing, guys, but I'm glad people are now pointing it out. You're kind of now confirming, what the rest of the world saw in the president of the United States of America. And that's crazy. You're confirming it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that the vice president made a lot of people sit up on the couch and pay attention.
Oh, yeah?
And at least be curious. With Biden, everybody was just knocked out, sleep, gone.
Have you talked to her since the loss?
No, I haven't, but I can't wait to.
What are you going to tell her?
I'm going to tell her I love her, I value her, I appreciate her, and, whatever she plans to do moving forward, I'm going to always support her, and I'm going to say what I've, been saying on the radio and on my podcast, that she has nothing to be ashamed about. She ran a great campaign and only had 100 days to do it. Nobody thought she could even do, what it is that she did. Like, the first day getting all the delegates in line, raising the money that she raised, digging the campaign out of a hole to where they were neck and neck on election day. And she inspired a lot of people. Like I got 4 daughters, and my 9-year-old and my 6-year-old, when I'm watching, This Week ABC on Sunday morning, or I'm watching CNN or Fox or MSNBC, they're coming in and they're asking me questions about Vice President Kamala Harris. And they were,
can imagine.
"You want to vote for the Vice President, Daddy?" Yes, I'm voting for the Vice President. And when she lost, they were upset that she was lost. So, she did inspire a lot of people, and it wasn't his.
Yeah, exactly as I expected. She basically inspired a lot of women, and obviously, speaking to my wife, kind of about this scenario, she says things like this are in fact needed. Win or not win, just the appearance of it would give people kind of the ability to envision it, and if they can envision it, then they can potentially become it. Not a single issue with the female president, guys, none, right? But it needs to be a good one, okay? Just like it needs to be a good male president, just in general, it just needs to be a good thing. But if we're gonna be choosing lesser of two evils, guys, I'm going to go for the one that's going to, bring the prices down, bro. I'm going to go for the one who has the ability to secure the border in ways that are obvious. Not saying that the left, while they were basically in power, were not securing the border in certain ways. I mean, they really well about this year. They weren't. But they were, in fact, doing things in the countries where the people were coming from. And under no circumstance can we actually deny that was actually happening. They just, for some reason, weren't focused directly on the border. They could have done both. All right. And I do think that this last presidency, if we look at a good thing at least, is they did make waves in South America during the last 4 years, in fact. But unfortunately, it just didn't mean anything, right? I mean, there's only so much you can do when people have given up completely on their country, right? So the next thing is to actually secure the border. They didn't do that, right? But let's continue.
Historic campaign.
What do you make of the demographics here? I mean, Trump got 1 out of every 3 voters of color.
No.
Yeah.
1 out of
33%.
No. Really?
Yeah.
When you say color, you mean like black, brown, everything? Oh, well, I think that, people have different issues that they care about. And I think that there's nobody out there that's a single issue voter. I think some of this is a backlash.
I'm literally a single issue voter. I care about not having my tax bracket raised under any circumstances. I already pay a stupid amount of taxes. People in the comments are like, but you're not in the tax bracket. Bro, if I'm saying it, I've done enough research to know that I'm in fact in the tax bracket, guys. All right. But either way.
To race and gender and identity politics. But man, most people, they just care about keeping food on their table and keeping a roof over their head. And I think sometimes people forget about that. I think that they forget about, the working class. And for whatever reason, Donald Trump speaks to the grievances of the working class in a real way. And I keep telling folks, people will forget what you did. They'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And when you go back to 2020, even though it was a pandemic and it was COVID,
yeah,
people don't care. All they know is they got stimulus checks with his name on it, and that's what they remember. And so people think about that. When you have conversations with folks, they be like, yo, I remember how 2020 felt. And they think that they're going to feel that, in this next term.
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain? I mean, he obviously
that's fair. That's actually a fair statement.
Turnout around the country in Republican areas, but he did much better than he had done before in places like Chicago, Brooklyn, Queens.
Because of
immigration,
dinner table issues. It's literally
immigration. Listen to the places that he just named, guys. Right, like what was going on specifically? You had immigration completely bombarding all of these major cities. All these major cities are like, bro, where are these people coming from? All right, where are they coming from? That's what happened. And of course, they're just going to be like, okay, who's allowing it and who's saying they're going to stop it? Okay, they're going to stop it. Let's vote for them.
Really that simple. Every day, people wake up and all they want to do is have more money in their pocket and they want to feel safe. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever religion you are, those are the 2 things that you're thinking about every day. How can I keep some money in my pocket and how can I stay safe? And
that's
when you
valid.
look at, issues like the economy, when you look at the border, and that's what I was telling people. We had this conversation back in February. I was having conversations with folks, and they was telling me, oh my God, these gangs are coming into our neighborhood, and I know it's because of the border. We got to close the border. Like, they were having these conversations. And I told you, John, this was the first time in my life that I heard people in my community, black people, brown people, having those conversations. So that was going to be an issue. They felt like things were safer. They felt like the border was safer, under Trump. And by the way, it's not like the Democrats didn't want border security. They just didn't know how to message it right. Build the wall may sound elementary, but you know what that signals to people? Border security.
Like, what he just said is an incredibly valid thing. Basically, let's say if you have a platform, right? The easiest way to get the most amount of people is to speak down, if that makes any sense, right? Like, if you have any type of intelligence, like specifically, the best example I can pretty much point out would be Marilyn Monroe, right? An incredibly intelligent person that dumbed herself down for the sake of notoriety and popularity. Another person would be Mr. Beast. Pay attention to his earlier content. Look at his recent content. He literally runs his script through, like, let's just say a website that allows you to see what grade level your vocabulary has the ability to kind of hold the attention of. And if you pay attention, it's generally like third grade. He never uses large words, nothing to make anyone think or question reality. None of these things. Everything that he says is absolutely juvenile, basically. Everyone has the ability to understand. Now, build that wall is literally that same thing. It's elementary, right? But yeah, obviously something like that would work because, again, more people. You're not coding it in a way that is hard to understand. You're just, but that's generally the way to get people on your team. Specifically, it's like basic marketing.
That's it. Yeah. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't complicate it by saying, we got to have the most comprehensive border plan. And, there's a bipartisan, border bill that Democrats and Republicans couldn't agree on. And Donald Trump shot it down. No, Trump is saying build the wall. And when they were telling you that it was a problem, y'all was saying, no, it's not a problem. Let's create sanctuary cities and let's bring people into our cities. And so when they started putting those, illegal immigrants on the buses and on the planes and sending them to those sanctuary cities. That was done. What did they say then? No. Don't come. So it looked like the Republicans were right and Democrats were wrong. And nobody knew that was going to be one of the big central issues that people thought about when they went into that voter booth.
Should Harris have done more to make it clear she wanted to go in a different direction from Joe Biden? Or did she want to go in a different direction?
She didn't.
I think that if she wanted to go in a different direction, she should have expressed that.
Right. Because, guys, remember the View interview that she did. What are you going to do different than that in your 4 years? Well, we're going to keep things basically the same. Okay, well, you lost.
Again, that goes back to messaging. That goes back to communication. I've been telling folks the language of politics is dead. You cannot finesse people anymore. You can't believe one thing, but then get in front of people and tell them something else. And if you are, you got to be really good at it, right? Yeah. What do I always say? Republicans are more sincere about their lies than Democrats are about their truth. So when she's on The View and she's shaking her head like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. But then you on Fox News with Brett Baer and you like, my administration is going to be totally different than a Biden presidency. If that was the case, I just think that should have been repeated.
Why didn't you say
several times? Like, one thing that she said when I had a conversation with her was repetition is good. Like, that's part of being disciplined, right? You have to repeat yourself over and over and over. That might have been one of the issues that she should have repeated herself over and over and over on.
So you had Laura Trump on the show the weeks before the election.
After Trump won, I just sent her a message and told her, hey, congratulations. And I said to her, I hope that this administration is going to be an administration for all Americans. And she said, thank you. I promise, in capital letters, that it will be. Listen, man, I think that we've seen enough of Donald Trump to know that may not be the case. But like I said, I just have to have a sense of optimism because he still is the president of the United States of America. And I just want us, like I said, as a people moving forward, we got to start building more community amongst each other.
That's fair.
We just got to hope for the best. Like, I'm not wishing for America to fail.
Absolutely not. Bro, okay, Charlamagne the God. All right, I mean, to be honest, this is a lot better than I actually expected this interview to actually go, guys. I'm telling you, I'm just gonna be honest. I did not expect him to be so grounded in his statements, and I also just did not expect it for him to be so real, right? I guess that's my overall personal bias that I guess I had coming into the interview, and I would like to apologize for that. He spoke well on this topic, I think. Nothing was too absolutely crazy. He spoke his opinion. I like that, right? But yeah, guys, we definitely do need some type of unity. I've already been through it, guys. I've lost family, apparently, now, guys. I spoke about it on my Mr. L. Boyd Discusses channel. Yeah, like, we need some unity, all right? It is not that serious, all right? Because like, for some reason, if you did not or like support or even promote, let's say, Kamala Harris, then obviously you are against me, right? And that's the mentality that a lot of these people have right now, guys. You guys have sent me a lot of videos of like people freaking out that Trump lost, and it's been crazy. All right, so that doesn't surprise me that that's a thing, right? But whoa, okay. We do, in fact, need to kind of come together and kind of settle these differences. In fact, because I'm not sure we're going to be able to get anything actually done if we just consistently are like arguing across the aisle, bro. All right. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.